Hey guys, how are you doing today? I hope that you are doing amazing and fantastic and wonderful. I've got my coffee. I've never had a Yeti, guys, because I'm cheap and I didn't want to spend that much money on a cup, but Aaron got it for me for Christmas and it makes my coffee stay warm forever, which if you are a mom, I always thought that people were like, yeah, like sort of like messing around when they're like, yeah, I've had to reheat my coffee like 5 times. It's, you know, being bomb. And no, it's true, guys. It's 100% true. Like, to be able to finish a coffee in one sitting is impossible. You can't do it. If you can, then you are brilliant and magical, but I can't at all, not even a little bit. So this has been saving my coffee game and I don't have to reheat it and all of that fun stuff. So today's video is all about what I read in December of 2020. The final books that I read in 2020. And you know what? I think that I did pretty darn good when it came to reading this month. The beginning of the month, not so much. I was barely able to read really anything at the beginning of this month, but I think that I was able to really like end the year going well. So the first one that I have is a 4-star rating for me, and it's Murder on Holiday Lane. It is by London Lovett. You guys know how much I love London Lovett, and this is the Starfire mystery series based in the 1920s. Our main character is Poppy Starfire, and she is a woman detective in California, and it takes a lot for people to take her seriously. And in this book, she is trying to clear the name of her director friend Wyatt, and Wyatt is a director or producer, and one of the actresses on his set was murdered and they think that it was him. So he has asked her to sort of figure out what happened and clear his name. And that was a 4 out of 5 stars. I really did enjoy it. The next one I read was the Cozy Escape Book Club Book of the Month, and that was Kneaded to Death by Winnie Archer, aka Melissa Bourbon, and I really enjoyed this. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I love the main character. I love that she had depth. Her mother was killed and she's sort of trying to figure out who she is now that her mother has passed away, and she's finding a way to heal. And one of the ways that she's finding a way to heal is to go and start taking bread making classes. And it's, you know, chaos sort of ensues. One of the fellow students of the bread making class is found murdered in her car, and she sort of figures out what happened to her, and it also includes sort of what happened to her mom too. So it was very enjoyable. I liked that a lot. Trigger warning if you don't like adultery, because that is sort of in the book, but it didn't bother me very much. If you want to know more thoughts on it, you can always go and look at Lisa and I's recording of book club for last month as well. The next book I read was a middle grade book, and it's called Space Case. It is the first book in the Moon Base Alpha series by Stuart Gibbs. I thought that this was an adorable middle grade book. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. I just needed a palate cleanser. If you guys watched my 2020 in review, I read 70 cozy mysteries, and I was finding myself getting a little burnt out, and I needed something to sort of cleanse my palate to, you know, I love my cozies. I'm always gonna be a cozy girl, but I needed something a little bit different, and middle grade is very different, though there was still a mystery element to it. the world has found a way to sort of colonize the moon, and they have sent up some scientists and families for a 3-year mission to sort of be the colonists of the moon. And it follows this young boy who, it's really not as awesome as it seems. They have to do video logs to Earth, but they're very, very censored, and you're not allowed to say anything bad about it. But it is not all that it was cracked up to be. And he is sort of stumbled upon a death on the moon that he believes is a murder, and it's just super, super cute. I love the sci-fi elements of it. I did get this from the library on the Libby app. Guys, I haven't even been using my library. Why haven't I been using my library? Like, come on. So all of the books that I have for the rest of this month, I freaking got off the library app on Libby. So super, super enjoyed that. And I have the second book waiting for me. The next book I read was Recursion by Blake Crouch. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I really did enjoy this. It's another sci-fi kind of book where the main character, she is trying to figure out a way to help Alzheimer patients. Her mom has Alzheimer's and is slowly forgetting her memories, and she's trying to figure out a way how to map her memories and really make it to where when she truly does forget everything, she could go into this chair and relive her memories. However, this sort of tool got into the wrong hands, and they figured out that you can actually travel back in your memories and sort of create alternate timelines, which really start messing up things. And it was really good. I was on the edge of my seat. The only reason why I didn't get 5 out of 5 stars for me is I really hate books that don't have a concrete ending. It bothers me when I don't know what happened to the characters, and it leaves it up to interpretation. So if that bothers you, you might not like the ending, but it was a really, really good book and I really enjoyed it. And then the last book that I read of 2020 was Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. I know that it was a very, very, very popular book a few years ago, and I have it from Book of the Month Club, and I have Recursion from Book of the Month Club, but I have been like devouring, like 90% of my books last year were read on my Kindle. So I got it from the library and read it on my Kindle, and there were a lot of trigger warnings. I feel like if I had read this book before I had Alex, then I wouldn't have been bothered so much by the trigger warnings in the book. But since I have Alex and I am now a mom, it has changed my perception of everything. So if you have issues with abandonment or with if you have trigger warnings with abortion or just not very good moms, then you might not like this book. But I sort of started reading it and it reminded me of Gilmore Girls in a way. So we've got a group of main characters. So there's Mia and her daughter Pearl, and Mia is sort of like an artist. She is a nomad. She moves a lot. Her and Pearl do. And she's moved to sort of like this beautiful, perfect, sort of utopia kind of neighborhood, promising Pearl that she is going to, they're going to stay put this time and let Pearl have sort of a teenage, you know, a rest of her teenage years. She's renting from this very, very well-off family, the Richardsons, and the Richardsons very much remind me of like Emily Gilmore and Richard Gilmore, and they have 4 children, and she's sort of like the prim and proper, does everything right kind of mom, whereas Mia's very like go with the flow kind of person. Her art is her life. She picks up odd jobs just to make ends meet, but that's not what her career is. So at first I like really enjoyed that dynamic, but then you start seeing more into their lives and the decisions that they made, and it really hit me in my moral compass, like what was right and what was wrong. And the reason why it sort of all falls apart is there's this little Asian baby that is going to be adopted into a Caucasian family who has been trying to have a family for about 14, 15 years, and they were never able to be successful. And so they were called, this little baby was left outside of a firehouse, extremely malnourished, really bad rash, and basically on death's doorstep. And they took her in for about a year and really started like raising her, made her healthy and loving and all of that. And they were almost done with adopting her when Mia finds out that the little Asian baby that they're trying to adopt was actually her co-worker's baby that due to postpartum depression and being extremely poor, she had nowhere else to go, and so she put the baby on the doorstep of the fire station. But now she realizes her mistake and she wants her baby back. And so it's sort of a conundrum on who should have the baby, and that's what sort of tears everything apart. And it just, I cried, guys. I sobbed. I was not okay. For days I was not okay. I had to pick up palate cleanser books. Like, I DNF'd multiple books after reading that one because I had such a book hangover. But yeah, so those are the books that I read for December. What books did you love? What books did you hate in December? Let me know down below. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, guys, happy reading. Bye.